Hello, everyone. This is Kelly Hillier, 8th grade English teacher on the Blizzard team. Thank you for watching this video in place of a January in-person meeting. Please watch the video with your 8th grader all the way through so both of you are informed about what happens next in the DC, New York trip planning process. So if you need to pause the video to go get them, feel free to do that now. As you navigate through this video, each slide's background shows some of the awesome sights that we'll be seeing in 5.5 months. The registration process went smoothly with lots of interest from 8th grade students. We currently have 120 confirmed students for the trip and 9 waitlisted students. This means that once we arrive in DC, we will have 3 motor coach buses to travel in. Over the course of the next few months, I will be working on confirming flight arrangements, hotel arrangements, and any other ticketed events on our itinerary. The behind-the-scenes work is a lot of fun as I plan an amazing and unforgettable experience for your child. With 120 confirmed students, we will have 9 CMS teacher chaperones, which gives us a 1:13 ratio for teacher to students. It is a perfect size small group to navigate in and around our itinerary sites. Our fall fundraiser was a huge success. We had 62 students participate, 1,980 braids were sold, which is a profit of $11,880. Some parents have asked if we will have another fundraiser. If a parent wants to coordinate a February-March fundraiser, that would be great. Please reach out to me by email if you're interested in coordinating and running a second fundraiser. It can be Butter Braid again, or it can be any other type of fundraiser. Because much of my spare time outside of teaching will be used to put the finishing touches on the trip, I will not be able to help or run a fundraiser. I can email parents with information and reminders, just like I did for the butter braids, but that would be the extent of my assistance. Communication is key prior to and while we're on the trip. I have a couple platforms to communicate with parents. Number one, by mass email, and the second option is the remind text, which I'll talk about next, and also the CMS trip website on Shutterfly. To communicate with students, announcements and handouts can be given in school, and they will also be on the Remind text group too. If you need or want to get a hold of me, my email is on the screen. I will check the school Gmail frequently each day. The Remind text is a great communication platform that we will use for parents and students. It is safe, user-friendly, and convenient. Phone numbers stay private and standard data rates apply. Parents will want to join the parent text group just in case there are any flight delays flying out and back into Minneapolis. And students will want to join the student text group so that we can communicate with students while on the trip. The next 2 slides will show you how to do it. It takes about 15 seconds to join. For parents, please text 81010 with the following code at 894 D as in David 88. Be sure to do the @ symbol, otherwise it won't work. Text messages from me will come in your text message area on your phone. If you want to get the Remind text app, you can, but it is not required. If I text something out to the entire group and you want to ask me a question back, you can definitely do that, and I'm the only one that sees that question. It doesn't go out to the large group. Once you hit send to join, it will most likely ask for your name. Please type your first and last name and then hit send again. If you want to pause the video now to sign up, it takes about 15 seconds to do so. For students, what they're going to do is the same thing basically, but with a different code. So students will text 81010 with the following code at F as in Frank, D as in David, A, K as in King, D as in David. Be sure to do the @ symbol, students, because if you don't, it won't work. So if you want to pause the video to sign up, feel free to do that. At our May meeting, the small group chaperone will create a group text for their small group as well. After winter break, your child will bring home a manila envelope with 2 packets in it. The first packet has an introductory letter. a CMS confirmed roster, frequently asked questions from parents, frequently asked questions from students, a suggested packing list, and the details about the Arlington wreath laying essay contest. Packet number 1 is for student and families to keep at home. Packet number 2 consists of 5 forms that need to be completed and returned to me, Mrs. Hillier, by Wednesday, January 18th. Because some of the forms have confidential information on it, please have your child return the forms in the manila envelope that was provided. If somehow the manila envelope gets misplaced, the 2 packets will be emailed to parents electronically and uploaded to the Shutterfly site as well. The following will highlight some points of the forms. Packet number 1, page 1, is the cover letter. You can read through that on your own. The 2 biggest things on this page is the due date for all forms, Wednesday, January 18th. It is imperative that the forms are returned by the deadline so that you don't hold up the next steps in the planning process for me. Secondly, mark your calendars for Tuesday, May 30th. All students and at least one parent must attend this meeting to receive all trip information and trip documents. Packet 1, page 2, is the confirmed student roster. Be sure to check through all the names because we've had a few students cancel from the trip and a few students clear from the wait list. The next 4 pages in the packet are frequently asked questions by parents. You can read through all the questions and answers at your leisure, but there are just a few that I would like to highlight. Question number 2, can my child use frequent flyer miles for the airline ticket and or can they accumulate miles because they are already a member of a certain airline frequent flyer group? The answer to this question is no. In regards to accumulating miles for the trip, usually the airlines we travel on do not allow students to accumulate miles on a reduced group rate ticket. And students cannot use frequent flyer miles because it is a group rate ticket. The third question on the form is my child wants to pack his or her gaming console. Can they do that? This is not recommended because we are constantly on the move. When we get back to the hotel, the kids are usually exhausted and don't have time or energy for gaming. Gaming consoles and or games are very expensive, and we would not want to have the student lose or forget the equipment at the hotel. Question 14 is, will the teacher chaperones give my child instructions on where to go and when to meet back up with the group? For sure, absolutely. But it is very important that they listen to the instructions that are given at all times and in every location. They'll want to be aware of their surroundings, pay attention to group announcements, group texts, always be with a buddy. And before they break away from the group to explore, they need to know the meeting time and location and how to get back to that spot. The teachers will give clear instructions on what to do and where to go, but it is the student's job to pay attention to those specific instructions. So this might be a helpful point to reinforce at home. And then the other question that I really want to highlight is Times Square and or New York safe? Obviously, there is an inherent risk anytime you travel anywhere in the world. We will do our very best to ensure our group is safe. Ways that your child, though, can help with that are always wearing their lanyard, always having a travel buddy, never going anywhere alone, listening to instructions, staying with their small group when instructed to do so, and really watching their surroundings. We will say and remind this to students many times on the trip, but it is important that they keep their eyes up and they look around as they're walking and that they're not in their phone. It's also important to remember that they will see a lot of interesting people and events happening in Times Square, and we'll let them know not to take pictures of people dressed up in certain characters or people who are performing in front of a small or a large group, because generally these people want money for their talent and oftentimes will want your child to pay for the photo that they just took of them. So we will be reminding students of that. We'll also be reminding them to not engage, talk, or take flyers or handouts from strangers on the street. When they buy souvenirs, we have special stores that we go to that are very kid friendly. They won't ever buy souvenirs from street vendors. And we will have three New York guides with our group to help us navigate the sites as we go. We are going to be using the New York subway for just a small portion of time on the last morning of our trip to go to and from the Statue of Liberty. We'll be on the subway for only a short time in the morning at approximately 9 a.m. And students will be given very clear and specific directions on how we're going to use the subway. And it will be required that they are with their small group chaperone and New York guide at all times for that process. The next several pages in the packet include commonly asked questions from students. And be sure that your child reads through all of these. It is very important for them to be in the know about how the trip goes rather than going into it unknowingly. All of the questions and answers in this packet are actually ones that have been asked numerous times in the past from students. And there are just a few that I'd like to highlight at this time. The first one that I want to highlight is, do I have to hang out with only students in my small group and only the students on my bus for the entire trip? That seems to be a commonly asked question. You will be with your bus group for transportation, and you will be with your small group for head count purposes and passing out information, small group photos, and during certain places and events in New York. But when we are at various museums and sites, you can walk around with anybody from the CMS group. We believe in being inclusive and we want everyone to have a great time. With that said, please be sure to listen for your bus time and location and meeting spot because we may have to stagger the three buses just by a little bit of time for different various sites. Second one that I want to highlight is a question: once we are in DC, can I switch buses and ride with other people? Great question, but no. You will be assigned to either bus one, two, or three, and a small group within that bus. Generally speaking, all three buses will ride in tandem to most locations. So you will get to see those other students on the other buses once we arrive at our destination, but you will always ride your assigned bus for the entire trip. Each student will be assigned a number on that bus, and we take attendance on all three buses frequently every day to ensure all students are there. The next question that I want to highlight is question 16, which is asked, will I be able to meet up with some other Century kids in the hotel and walk around the hotel lobby or the pool area at night when we get back? The answer to this one is no as well. We will truly be at the hotel just to sleep. We get up early and stay out late. When we get back to the hotel and after we've had our large group meeting in the evening, we will all head to our rooms for the evening. The next question I want to highlight is number 20. Will our entire CMS group, so 120 kids and 9 chaperones, will we all be on the same flight on the outbound and the return home? Probably not. We've only had 1 year that we've had that happen, and it's very, very rare to get that many seats on one flight. Most likely, we will have 2, maybe even 3 different flights out and return. You will be flying with your bus group along with your small group chaperone. Some students may be flying out of Terminal 1, which is the main terminal, and some students may be flying out of Terminal 2. Regardless, STA's flight department tries their best to get flights that all land within about 15 to 20 minutes of each other so that we can all see the same things around the same time. The next question I want to highlight is number 29. Do I always have to hang around my adult teacher chaperone? The answer to this is no. There are times when you will be able to wander through a museum with a small group of friends and you'll be able to meet up with our large group at a certain time. During certain times, we will all conduct a head count to make sure everyone has returned, and it will be necessary for you to go to your small group chaperone so that we can do that head count quickly and then move on to the next activity. This will become easy and a habit after day 1. You'll have a number assigned to you, and when we yell count off, students follow suit by yelling out their numbers in sequence. It's a quick and easy way to check that everyone is there, and this will also become a fun habit because we try to beat our time every single time we do it. And then the last question that I want to highlight is number 33. And this is a commonly asked question by students. Is this trip going to be fun? Are we going to be learning the whole entire time? And the answer to that is absolutely yes and yes. This is an awesome experience and so much fun to travel with friends and teachers that you've worked with throughout the year. You'll be learning a lot of fun and interesting things around our nation's capital and the Big Apple. You'll talk about this trip and the memories for years. The main thing to remember with group travel is that you will love most things, and there will also be some things that you may not care for. So, flexibility along with a positive perspective are key. There will be a lot of people around you that know a lot about the various places we are going that want to share some fun, interesting facts and stories with you. So be grateful for such an incredible experience because many people don't get to travel and see parts of the United States like this. The next slide or the next page in the packet is the suggested packing list. The biggest things off of this list are comfortable shoes. We do a ton of walking, bringing souvenir money, bringing dollar bills to buy bottled water on the bus, or your child could bring a refillable water bottle, and then any of the over-the-counter items mentioned on the list. The buses do have small emergency kits with things like gauze and Band-Aids, but it is very helpful if students bring Advil or Tylenol, Dramamine, Tums, tampon pads, Gold Bond for any chafing because we do a ton of walking. No need to bring swimsuits or big blankets or gaming consoles. The last page of Packet 1 is the Arlington Wreath Laying Essay Contest. Arlington National Cemetery is one of the nation's most sacred locations, honoring veterans and their families who've sacrificed their lives for our freedom. Each year, 2 students are selected to represent Century by participating in the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier wreath laying ceremony. The wreath's ribbon is embossed with the name Century Middle School and is our way of honoring the many soldiers who've given their lives. This writing contest is optional. Interested students will complete a short 400 to 500 word essay, so that's just a little bit longer paragraph, answering the following question. What is the significance or purpose of designing, constructing, and visiting monuments of people or events from our nation's history? The essay should be typed and handed in to Ms. Hillier or Ms. Goldberg by Friday, March 17th. Essays then are blind copied, so that's copied without students' names, and read by a panel of Century teachers that are not chaperones on the trip. 2 students are selected based on the quality and the thought put into their essay, and winners are announced at our May parent-student meeting. This is a tremendous honor and a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Now on to Packet 2. Packet 2 contains 5 forms that need to be completed and returned to me, Mrs. Hillier, by Wednesday, January 18th. The forms are student information, which is 1 page, medical release, which is 3 pages, general guideline agreement, which is 1 page, code of conduct agreement, also 1 page, and the academic year behavior agreement, which is also 1 page. The first page in the student is the student information page. You will notice that it doesn't ask for t-shirt sizing on this form. We will do t-shirt sizing in school, so you don't need to worry about that. We will have sample sizes so that students will be able to see exactly what size they are going to be getting. The room section on this form is very important to complete. Your child will need to put down 3 students they would like to room with in order of preference. Remember from the September presentation or video that I'll do my very best to give each student at least 1 person from their list. It is important to make everyone feel comfortable and included. There are a lot of moving parts when it comes to rooming students. Students need to remember that we are not in our hotel rooms very long at all. only to put our head down on the pillow and get a little sleep before the next busy day. Your child can also put a check mark on the line indicating that they don't care who they are roomed with. Just a reminder that students cannot put waitlisted student names down because we're not sure if they will clear from the waitlist. If you paid for an upgrade to a double or a triple room, please put that in the margin and who the other students are that also did that too. Families that paid for the upgrade will be honored with that request and only have those students in that room. If you remember from the fall presentation, the window to upgrade rooms was October 13th through November 4th. That option is now closed. Be sure that your child looks at the Century confirmed roster in packet number 1 because we've had a few students cancel from the trip and a few students clear from the wait list. Sometimes students think that because all 4 students put each other on the form, that it's automatically guaranteed that all 4 students are going to be in that room. And that is not the case because we want to make sure that every student feels included and every student has at least one person they feel comfortable with. The media release at the bottom of this page allows chaperones to take pictures of your child either individually or in a group and post them on social media platforms such as Twitter, Facebook, and the Shutterfly page. If you do not want your child's picture taken, please let me know. The next 3 pages of this packet are medical forms. These forms are probably the most important for our chaperone staff, so we can take care of your child on this trip. While we appreciate students wanting to help parents fill out these forms, the medical form is one that we ask parents to complete so it is accurate, legible, and complete. It is very important to be honest and thorough on these forms, even if you don't think the medical information is relevant or necessary. You just never know. The more information that we, the chaperones, have, the better. A few key things. It is important for us to know if your child takes daily medication, how much, the name of it, and if you want a chaperone to administer the medication or if your child takes it on their own. It is important for us to know food sensitivities and allergies. The questionnaire is pretty self-explanatory, and the last section of the 3rd page is just reconfirming that you know how COVID works prior to the trip. Any private information that's given in regards to medicine on these forms will be kept private within the chaperone group. The next form is the general guidelines form for the trip and the hotel. Please take time to read through all the I understand statements with your child, have them initial each line, and then both you and your child will sign the bottom. I am a strong believer that agreements prevent disagreements. So we want to make sure that students actually read and know what they are signing rather than just blindly agreeing to something. The next form is the Code of Conduct form. This form is also very important and has actually evolved over the years as some of these things have actually happened on our trips. And we want to make sure that everyone knows our expectations and consequences. Because these are very important and can make or break a student's experience, I will just quickly highlight each statement. I will respect and listen to teacher chaperones, tour guides, airport security, bus drivers, and security guards at the hotel at all times. I understand once I'm through security at the airport, I will go directly to the gate of departure with my group and will not go back out through security. I understand inappropriate action, such as bringing, purchasing, or using drugs, alcohol, e-cigs, vape pens, THC products, gummies, etc., at any point during the trip will result in immediate dismissal from the trip and will be sent home at my parent guardian's expense. I understand that shoplifting is an inappropriate action and will result in an immediate dismissal from the trip, and I will be sent home at my parent guardian's expense. I agree to use my technology devices appropriate at all times. This also includes when I am not under direct supervision of a chaperone. For the duration of the trip, from drop off on June 11th to pick up on June 15th, I understand that I am not allowed to take and or post inappropriate or disrespectful pictures of myself, friends, or strangers on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, TikTok, any of the platforms during the entire trip. This includes at museums, memorials, sites, on the bus, in the hotel room, etc. Chaperones will have the right to confiscate and hold on to devices for the remainder of the trip if this occurs. Depending on severity, immediate dismissal from the trip may occur. I understand that I will not be on my cell phone, talking, texting, scrolling while I'm crossing streets, intersections, getting on and off the bus or the subway, walking along areas that have sights to see and observe, while chaperones or tour guide, bus drivers are talking and directions are being given. The last form is the academic year behavior agreement. Even though the trip isn't until June, it is important for students to make positive and safe choices for the whole school year leading up to the trip. While we don't expect students to be perfect, we do want students to avoid risky, dangerous, or unkind decisions that impact themselves and others prior to and while on the trip. We find that if students are unable to do that in a school setting prior to the trip, they may not be able to do it in a travel setting while on the trip, where the stakes could potentially be much higher. Again, safety for our entire group is first and foremost. We have amazing students at Century, and 99% of the time, students are doing exactly what they should be doing. We appreciate their great behavior and their excitement to make the trip fun for everyone. Here are some tentatively planned sites for our trip. You can see that we do put a lot into the itinerary. And this slide shows you a few of the DC memorial sites. Here's some additional tentatively planned DC memorial sites. And the last of the DC memorial sites. And here are some tentatively planned New York sites and events. After the forms are all handed in, what happens next? Great question. Basically, your job is easy. Just continue to make payments on your child's account. Both parents and students should sign up for the Remind text group, like we mentioned at the beginning of this presentation. Parents should create a free Shutterfly account. Students continue to make good choices in and out of school as to not jeopardize your ability to participate in this trip. And both parents and students mark your calendar for the last and mandatory trip meeting on Tuesday, May 30th at Century from 6:30 p.m. to 7:45. Our trip website looks like this. It is on Shutterfly. You can use the link on the screen or scan the QR code to get to the site. The site will house all our information, handouts, forms, presentations, videos, etc. It's a great one-stop shop for the trip. You can visit this site and see all the information without having to have a Shutterfly account. If you want to be able to have access to the trip photos when we come back, you will need to create an account and request access. So if you want access to our photos, you just have to set up your own free Shutterfly account, then go to our trip website and request to be a member. Once I receive your request and it's been accepted, you will have access to the photos after we come back. If you look at the top bar on the website, you will see the home button, then the picture video button, and then the calendar button. If you aren't a member of the site, you'll still be able to see everything on this page and click on the links and get access to all the forms, handouts, videos, etc. But you will need to be a member to get access to the photos and the videos. Some photos will be posted on our Twitter and Facebook pages during the trip, and then all of the pictures will be posted on the Shutterfly page when we return. Pictures stay on the site until September 1st. Photos will look like this once they're uploaded. You will have access to download them and use them as you wish to create a scrapbook. The pictures are stored on the website until September 1st, then they're taken down. Keep in mind that your child will be able to take pictures on their phone as well. The pictures that the chaperones will take will be large group photos and individual photos. If you don't see a lot of pictures of your child on the Shutterfly section, it may be because your child didn't want to have their individual or small group picture taken that day. Our last and mandatory trip meeting will be Tuesday, May 30th at Century at 6:30 p.m. This is a very important meeting that at least one parent and the student needs to attend. I realize that everyone has busy schedules at the end of the school year, but we take this meeting very seriously as your child will get their rooming assignments, their small group chaperone, their travel documents, bag tags, backpack, t-shirt, airport boarding procedures, etc. Thank you for marking your calendar to attend. All forms are due to me, Mrs. Hilliard, by Wednesday, January 18th. Your child can simply put the completed forms back in the manila envelope and give that to me at school. Because there can be confidential medical information on the forms, it is great to use the envelope. I thank you in advance for returning the forms on time so that you don't hold up the next steps in the planning process for me. There's a lot of work done behind the scenes between January and May. So if you can have them returned on or before January 18th, that would be fantastic. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email me at any time. I'm here to help. Thanks for watching this video with your child and completing the forms. Enjoy the rest of your winter, stay warm, and I am excited to create a lifelong memory for your child. Thank you for giving them this fantastic opportunity.